Hi everyone, it's Hatsy and I'm back with another speed build in The Sims 4. So today we are going to be building a modern mega mansion. I wanted to build this because I saw a picture that really inspired me and it's of a home in California and it looked amazing. So I wanted to try it out. I don't know how good I am at modern mega mansions. If it's a complete fail, I will never do one of these again. I promise, but I have been enjoying just broadening out or branching out a little bit and doing different styles on my channel because I have really done traditional houses in the past. So trying new things is always really nice because it brings new people to the channel as well. People that maybe necessarily wouldn't have liked the traditional houses that I was sharing and maybe would want to see something more like this. So please let me know what you think because I am really experimenting with new things at the moment. And if you do have any other ideas of things that you'd like me to try, I'm really open to stuff at the moment. As long as the majority would kind of want to see something on the channel, then yeah, like I'm up for doing it. So this build is absolutely stunning and something that I like about it is the fact that it looks so obnoxious on the picture. And I even added my own obnoxious parts. So my build has Ferraris. I'm no good at cars, by the way. So there we go. I say Ferraris just because I put like red toy cars in the build. So you probably see that on the thumbnail if you've been looking at that. Or you'll see at the end of the video when I do start to put them in. But yeah, you'll see what I mean, hopefully. It looks super obnoxious. So if your Sims do live here, then it's going to be really cool. And I'd love to see what kind of families you would want to live in a build like this. That would really interest me. So yeah, if you do end up using this house, then remember to share it if you get time. Like if you get time on Twitter, share a picture of the family if they've been living here or something, because that's super interesting to me. And yeah, it will be on the Sims 4 gallery, so look out for it under HatsyYT. And yeah, go and get it and let me know what you think. So anyway, something that I really like about this build is the fact that it has a water feature in the back garden. It's like a rock pool thing, and that was because I didn't really know what else to stick there because we had a lot of basement space to kill, and I thought, well, I'm feeling a rock pool, so we're going to go with it. You'll see it in a little bit. And also I was trying to sort out the sides of the house at this point. It was ridiculously annoying because basements are so hard to work with. There are so many glitches, so I was having to just try extra hard with this part. I guess this was the most trickiest part of the video. This was the bit where I was just like, do I give up though? And I didn't. I think like when I come across glitches in the game, sometimes I'm really up for fixing them. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find a way around it, and I did with this build. But sometimes I'm just like, do you know, if it's gonna take me ages, then I'm just gonna try something else. Go for the easiest option, which I shouldn't. I should just stick at absolutely everything. It is a bit of a weird layout, which you will see. So the front entrance is something that isn't really focused on that much. It's like round the back, which I actually really like for a change, because I think maybe some people notice this about my builds, but a lot of the time the front entrance is just like really sort of displayed, and that's like the main thing about the build. And you know, it's like you walk straight into it, but this build's a little bit more complicated. So the main feature of the build is actually like round the back pool area, which I think is really cool because it's like super private, and I think it would look really scenic if you had a family out here and you could create some really cool memories for them. At this point, I was creating a nice decking area for the Sims to sit. So that looks a lot more scenic in the picture. What I really like particularly about the picture is the fact that there was a little seat in the staircase. Can we just appreciate that for a second? Why can't I have one of those in The Sims 4? Oh my goodness, I would love that. I just wish we had some like super quirky things. I want seats and staircases, that's what I want. Or like wall seats, how cool is that? Probably like no one knows what I'm going on about, probably it's just me. But yeah, anyway, I want to talk about the rock feature because that will be popping up in a little bit, and that is like my favourite thing about the build. So I've got rocks on my mind, I can't talk about anything else now. So I've actually had a really bad experience with rock pools before, and I was going to do a separate story time on also Hatsy about it because that's my second channel now, and I've been working on some new story times I'm going to be sharing on there. which are separate to the ones that I usually share on this channel, because like sometimes talk about the build, sometimes talk about like random stuff. Well, also Hatsy is going to be all the stories that I'm too afraid to tell on my main channel, Hatsy. So all the ones that are a little bit risky and may offend people, I'm just going to be sticking on also Hatsy. So yeah, there we go. But the rock pool story. So I was going to get my best friend on for this one, Belle, because I realised the other day that Belle actually watches my videos. How crazy is that? I didn't know. Like, she said to me in the past that she watches some of my videos, but I was just, honestly, like, I just thought she was saying it, you know, just to be nice. Like, yeah, I watch your videos. But sometimes I say stuff which I don't actually do, like, yeah, I do this, or yeah, I do that. So I thought Belle was doing that, but no, she actually watches my videos. It's crazy, but I definitely want to get her on the channel at some point because I think it would be absolutely hysterical. So yeah, the rock pool story. What exactly happened? Well, this is a really unfortunate thing, and I think it's only really appropriate for this video because we're building such a ginormous feature in a bit. Like, seriously, I think for about 8 minutes onwards from this video, that's when we're going to be doing. I don't know though. It's really hard to judge, but I guess like the second part of this video is going to be the rock stuff, so you'll see that because that's like my favorite bit. Well, I was 13 years old and we all went on a school trip. So I used to love and also hate school trips because school trips was something that it was either a very luxury experience or it was either a really character building experience, and I hated character building experiences. Honestly, when I was 13, I felt like I didn't need to build my character up anymore. It was built at its full capacity. So why would I need to go on a character building experience? So anyway, that aside, I had to go on this like trip to this random lake with loads of rocks around it, which sort of looked a little bit like in this build because it was like a proper rock pool place. So we arrived and there were several character building things that we apparently had to do. So one of them was rock climbing, one of them was canoeing or like something involving a boat. I honestly can't remember. Sailing. That was it. Flipping sailing. And then there was something else which was so boring that I honestly can't even remember. Like, I actually can't. So what happened was we arrived and we first had to learn how to canoe by ourselves or something like that. Like, we were in these boats. And bear in mind, I was a 13-year-old girl and I'd just done like my hair and makeup because I didn't know what this trip was going to be like, okay? I didn't realise we were going to be outside the whole time. I thought maybe I'll get to dress up for this trip, you know, maybe I could look quite nice for it or whatever. We were split into groups and we had this really obnoxious blonde surfer man. That's like the best way to describe him. Well, he was the one that was supposed to look after our group. And I think that maybe if I was like a bit older, he would have been really good looking, but it was that kind of age that I was at that he wasn't. Like, he was just super annoying. And everything he did just really aggravated me because he picked on me. He wasn't nice. So we were all in the boats and stuff like on the rock pool area. And the random surfer man was just like picking a fight with me the whole time. I don't know, and it was just me as well. So he went round the group and asked like what everyone wanted to do when they were older, like what do you want to be when you're older, you know, the kind of question that you ask kids or whatever. And when it got to me, honestly, I wasn't sure. So I just said, well, to be honest, I really enjoy hair and makeup, so maybe I'd want to look into hairdressing or something because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And that was at the point where he splashed me, like fully splashed me in the water. As I was saying I wanted to be a hairdresser, he humiliated me in front of the whole group and said, well, your hair doesn't look so nice now, does it? I was mortified. Obviously, you can imagine the look on my face. Like, even then, I was a very different style of person that he was probably used to being around, you know? I was someone that didn't like sports, didn't like water sports or anything like that. So anything that he was really going to say to me, I was going to hate. So where does the disaster come into play? Well, the disaster that involves my best friend Belle comes in a little bit later, and that's when we're trusted on our own to go sailing. So this was just before lunchtime. We went and we were paired into twos to go on our own boats. Now I have to add that before I even went on the school trip, my mum gave me a huge lecture about the fact that she didn't want me to let my bag out my sight at any point during the trip. So I always take my mum literally. Like anything that she says to me, I'm like, okay, that's what I'm doing. Or like I did at this point in my life. So until this probably. So she said to me, do not let your bag out your sight. So I didn't let my bag out my sight. Like I carried my bag around with me at all times. So inside my bag, just a little bit of background on this, were my spare clothes, my phone, my paper money, and my lunch. So everything that I would have needed that day was in this bag. Well, being me, I took it sailing, right? So Belle and I set off being trusted in our own boat, and I had the bag on my back, like a backpack. And I just wasn't thinking. Like, Belle was smart. Belle left her bag on the side. And I think the teacher really advised me to do the same with my bag. She probably stopped me and she was like, Harriet, you probably shouldn't take your bag with you. You're probably going to get wet. And I was just like, no, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. And also, my mum's told me that I'm not allowed to leave my bag with everyone else's. I have to take my bag just alone and have it at all times with me. So everything's going absolutely fine on the boat until Belle starts deciding that she wants to drift off a bit and go and explore. So we start drifting off away from everyone and away from the teachers and stuff. So Belle starts joking around as we're a little bit away from everyone else. And she's doing the whole, oh look, Hattie, we're capsizing. Oh my goodness, no. And she's doing all that and she's like rocking the boat by herself. So I start laughing at that because obviously she looks like a complete idiot. And I think that I started rocking it too. And that's around the point where the boat did actually capsize. And I realised at the point where I was falling into the water that I still had my bag on my back with all my stuff in. And I fell headfirst into freezing, cold, dirty water. So the teachers had to come and fish us out, and it was very embarrassing. And I was left for the rest of the day with both sets of clothes being soaking wet because my spare clothes that I was wearing on my back were now drenched. My clothes that I was currently wearing were drenched. And it just gets worse from there. So come lunchtime, I then realise, oh no, I've got no lunch because my lunch is also drenched. So the only option for me was to hang my sandwiches on a washing line. So I don't know where I got these pegs from. I think that the teacher gave them to me because I was just like, what do I do? And she just said, well, you can hang your stuff up. Again, taking her literally. So I hung up my spare clothes, my money, and my sandwiches. And if things don't get much worse from this point, that's when my clothes didn't dry out and my mum was an hour and a half late to pick me up. So all my friends went home. I was the last one there and I had to wait an hour and a half in the pouring rain with my wet sandwiches, which never dried out. I actually never got to eat those sandwiches. Like, how sad's that? So yeah, that is my crazy rock pool story. I'm surprised that I built one after I'm pretty much scarred after what happens. It was a terrible day, like awful. Anyway, at this point we were adding some back windows to the build, which I was finally doing. I did those as one of the last things that I did, and that was because I wasn't sure if I needed to change anything around. So I like to really work on the front until I'm happy with it, and then I'll usually do the back windows. I don't do it all in order. Like, I know that some people do the windows all at once, but sometimes I don't. I just do it a little bit separately. And yeah, this is the front entrance part. So this is where the family will be coming into the build. I know that it's a little bit plain compared to the rest of it, but to be honest, I didn't have that much space. And also, I think it's quite nice that it's plain because I think it's quite secretive. I also added loads of lights around the build, so it's going to look great at night time. I think that the build itself does look best in Granite Falls, even though we've moved it at this point, so it's not in Granite Falls anymore, but it does appear back at the end being there. And that was mainly because I couldn't change the light colours because you can't have Sims living in Granite Falls, unfortunately. I wish that you could. I wish that you could actually live there because this would be a fantastic place to live, and I'm pretty sure that you probably could, but you just have to have a mod for it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend if you're going to use this build, and if you're going to use it in the way that I sort of imagine it to look, really secluded looking, then I would say move it to Granite Falls and have it there. So yeah, this is a spa area outside, so I definitely wanted a little area that your Sims could go and relax. I didn't want to put too much stuff here. And also I did want to make it look a little bit corporate. Is that the best way to describe it? I don't know. But I kind of wanted it to look a little bit like it's a hotel setting. I didn't want to clutter it too much. I wanted it to be very generic mansion looking there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the interior yet. But if you have any ideas, then send them to me over Twitter. Like if you've seen a kitchen that you particularly like the look of or something, then send me a picture of it because I would be up for creating it for this build. Anyway, that is the end of the build. So I really hope that you enjoyed it and I hope to see you all for part 2. Thank you so much for watching and I'll speak to you all soon.